Lisheens House offers a unique service. It offers a one-to-one, face-to-face therapeutic service. And the beauty of Lisheens House is that anybody can refer a person and can ring up about their concerns about a person. It can be a mother, father, son or daughter, a friend or a colleague. And it's also free. And Lisheens House, our aim is that it is easily accessible. There is no GP referrals, there is no psychological reports needed. It is there as a simple, quick method to prevent deaths by suicide and self-harm. We have a helpline number which is 02378, and it's manned by 3 different volunteers. And when a person rings our helpline number, we can refer them to a counsellor on the same day.
When everyone's pretending, playing games, that's called life.
I do 4 days a week in Lisheens House. I do the clothes, I do the pressing, I do the shop sometimes when there's somebody else in the back. For suicide prevention, I didn't find any services at all for preventing suicide until I came into Lisheens House. We need loads more volunteers because we have so much to do. We need somebody in the back to empty bags, do the steaming, sorting, labelling and all that kind of thing. That's what I would like to see.
I have been affected myself personally by depression over the course of about 10 years, I suppose, and I've had loved ones and people lost to suicide as well. It's affected my life quite a bit. It's been a constant stepping stone that I've had to get over, and it's it's grand to say you go to your GP and he'll help you out, but a lot of the time you're just lost in the mix of loads of other people with similar problems, and you can be forgotten about very easily. You can be thrown on antidepressants and left on them for years and years, and they'll think that's fixed you, but your quality of life is never questioned as much as it should be, in my opinion. I think there should be more done to help out individuals rather than just have them on medication, because as much of it as it is an important part of it, it's more important to have supports there, people to talk to, checkups, things that way.
Originally, Lisheens House was funded by myself. I founded the charity, and I got a small number of like-minded people together who sat around the table, and we decided that our best way forward was to go out on the street fundraising. So we held flag days, and as Lisheens House became more known and it got more publicity, people in the community came behind us. So people do all sorts of activities for Lisheens House. We have people have done coffee mornings, they've held discos at 7 o'clock in the morning in Bantry Square. They sell our wristbands for us, which are available in every school, every venue in Cork and West Cork, and they highlight our service. They're all colours, and they have our helpline number, which is 02378, and they're a great way of advertising, and they've become extremely popular. We have had people cycle from the Mizzen to the Malin. We've had Pat Coakley and his team. They raised over £8,500. We've had Mary, one of our volunteers in the shop. She did a bingo day. Only for the people in the community that support Lisheens House, we would simply not be able to provide our service. We then launched our first charity shop on Main Street in Skibbereen in May 2015, which is a steady income to support the service that we offer. We sell everything in the shop, anything that somebody wants to donate that another person can buy, and that creates revenue to pay our team of qualified counsellors to provide free counselling for people in their community.
I've actually had therapy paid for me by it, which would have cost me €60 a pop for every session, which young people don't have today. and it's difficult for families to step up to the market and give that money. So I certainly have benefited hugely, and I really do appreciate the fact that this place is here and that they can help out people who are in such difficult positions.
So we have a wonderful selection of clothes here that people are constantly bringing in. We have the men's shirts and jumpers here, jeans, lots of men come in for work jeans. We have a lovely selection of books, and again they're constantly being changed, CDs and videos. There's a few children's clothes, we're just building up children's clothes again, a few toys. Lovely dresses that people have just worn once often, and that are lovely for special occasions. And shoes, many shoes, handbags, and of course we have furniture as well. So. I had lost a child, and so I felt it was an idea close to my heart, and if I can help anyone else to have a better quality of life and avoid any disaster in their life, it's something I feel quite passionate about. Well, it's the first time I've worked in a shop, so it's a new experience for me, and I also work from home as a therapist, and this gets me out of the house and I'm seeing people I haven't seen for years. I like working with people, and so I've been enjoying working here.
My friend from school, he hung himself there, and a lot of my family got depression, and I suffered from depression myself for years and years.
Volunteering for Lisheens House, I did it, and I got to go outside and got to meet loads of people, and I also got to help raise money for a really good charity that was close to me as well.
Personally, I'd like to see more like clinics and stuff, because there's not that many, and there's so many people that have stuff going on and no one understands it, and we need places to go and get help with it.
Lisheens House was founded because I felt that there was a huge need for such a service in the community for people. Unfortunately, I had first-hand experience with suicide because I lost my husband Donald to suicide. He was only 39 in 2007. And I felt that if we had such a service in existence at that time, it might have been easier for us to access help. We found that help was very difficult to access, and it wasn't easy and it wasn't accessible. So the aim of Lisheens House is to just prevent deaths by suicide, to prevent families from the trauma of a suicide, and simply a suicide can destroy family and its members. So our aim is to prevent death by suicide, and I felt that we certainly did not have an easy and accessible service, and especially in rural parts of Ireland, because there still is a stigma attached to seeking help, and especially in a hospital. So I felt that an informal service would benefit people like Donald, who was an ordinary working man who came from a farming background, and a GA man who felt maybe a shame being attached to attending a hospital. So it was my vision that there would be an informal setting, and it would be a quick, easy, accessible and confidential service.
Facebook and the likes of Instagram and Twitter, a lot of social media bullying would go on, what's it called, e-bullying, and Jesus, I suffered from it myself. Like I got a lot of bad things said to me before, and it's just dreadful that there's people out there who think that it's okay to sit behind the screen of a computer and say what they're thinking, and they'd be saying horrendous things, horrific things, and it's just horrible to even watch it. And
hey, how are you?
I'm good, yourself?
Not too bad. It's €2 or so, please. Thanks very much. At Lisheens House, we fundraise by selling wristbands. We collect money outdoors. We do bag packing in shopping centres, And at Christmas time we have carol singers, and we collect all around the city area and West Cork.
Lisheens House, we have plans to expand into education and training. We've already delivered talks on positive mental health to secondary schools in Cork City and in the county, which have been greatly received, and they inform people on how to mind their mental health and positive mental health. We are now acquiring a new building in Skibbereen, and one section of it will be for second-hand furniture, which will be restored and painted by volunteers. Some of those volunteers which will have had used the service, and they want to give something back to the community. So, and if they're not working at the moment because of this economic recession that is still ongoing in the country, it has affected a lot of middle-aged men, and a lot of younger men who haven't immigrated have simply very little to occupy their time. In that building as well, we will be providing education and talks on how to mind your mental health and positive mental health. We will be providing alternative therapies like acupuncture, Reiki. We will be doing art therapy, anything that people want. We feel it's time now to have a support group for people who are bereaved by suicide in West Cork, and also a support group for people who are living with someone who has a mental health issue, who are struggling and finding it difficult to cope with. Obviously our new building wouldn't be possible without the support and help and the volunteers from people in the community.
I had to leave school.
The most help I ever had in school would have been turning around to buddies and saying, this is bothering me or something, and like the likes of myself and Ben now, we'd go skating for a few hours or cycling and just go out and do exercises, and we just forget about things, and we nearly forget about each other sometimes, don't we? Like,
Trying to keep the mind occupied.
I think the youth of today would benefit so much from help in schools. I mean, even as simple as sitting down with somebody, a teacher, someone who works in a school, or someone who, like an older student, volunteering to even sit down with someone and just speak to them and even let them know what you're thinking of, just would make the world of a difference. I know if I had someone to talk to every day, like someone who was willing to help me, then I would have done a lot more with myself. And I think I'd say I probably speak for a lot of other youths there as well today. Like,
Lisheens House has a website, and the website address is www.lisheenshouse.ie.